I mailed my brother's fiancée the paternity results he begged me to hide. They came back negative. I mailed my brother's fiancée the paternity results he begged me to hide. They came back negative. So my brother Marcus called me at like 11 at night back in March, which he never does, and he was talking so fast I could barely follow him. He said he needed a favor and it had to be me because he couldn't have anything with his name on it showing up at the house. He'd ordered one of those at-home paternity kits and he wanted it shipped to my apartment. I asked him what the hell he was talking about. He just said, please man, just say yes. Here's the part I didn't know yet. His fiancée Jenna had a son, Cole, who's 4. Marcus met her when Cole was about 8 months old. The story everybody in our family got was that Cole's dad was some guy who took off before he was born, and Marcus stepped up, and honestly he did. He does drop off. He does the doctor stuff. Cole calls him dad. Jenna's whole family calls him a saint about it, and he'd sort of let them. The kit showed up at my place a week later. Marcus came over, swabbed the little cotton things into the tubes, one labeled with his name and one labeled with Cole's. And I'm standing in my kitchen going, wait, why would you need this? He wouldn't look at me. He said Jenna and I were talking a lot before she got with Ethan. Like a lot. Talking. You know what I mean? So I did the math out loud and it worked. It actually worked. There was a window, and I remember getting this weird light feeling like, okay, this is a good thing, right? Like this is a happy ending waiting to happen. I said something like, dude, if it's yours, that's amazing. Jenna's gonna cry. And he said she can't ever know I did this. I said, why? He said, because if it comes back yes, I'm gonna tell her when I'm ready. And if it comes back no, nothing changes and nobody has to think about it again. I didn't love that, but I let it go because at the time it still sounded like nerves. Like a guy scared of an answer. I mailed the tubes off in the prepaid envelope. He gave me his own login for the results portal because it was going to my address anyway, and then he made me promise like 6 times. He kept saying, you're the only person I trust with this. The results came back on a Tuesday. 6 weeks later, almost. I logged in at like 7 p.m. and it said probability of paternity, 0%, excluded. And I called him immediately because I felt awful for him genuinely. I was already doing the whole speech in my head like, it doesn't matter, you're his dad anyway, that's not what makes a dad. He picked up and I said, Marcus, it's negative, I'm sorry. And he didn't say anything for a second. Then he exhaled, this big long shaky one, and he said, oh, thank God. I thought I misheard. I said, what? He said, no, I mean, that's okay. That's simpler. I said, simpler how? And I guess he was so relieved he forgot who he was talking to because he just started explaining it. He said the wedding money, his half, was actually his savings and his 401k, and if Cole was his, that's 4 years of back child support. Jenna could have come after him for if it ever went bad, and his buddy who does family law said that number would have been ugly. He said, if he's not mine, then I'm just the guy who's been nice to him. I can always walk. Right now I can always walk. I said, you did this so you'd know if you could leave. He said, don't say it like that. I said, you're marrying her in June. And he said, which is exactly why I needed to know before June. He kept going. He was still on the relieved honest setting. He said if Cole had been his, he'd have been stuck. That's the word he used. Stuck. And now he had options, and he was probably going to marry her anyway. Then he laughed a little and said, you get it. Nobody else would get it, but you get it. I said, yeah, and hung up. I printed the results page the next morning. I put it in an envelope with a sticky note that said the date he ordered the kit, the date he swabbed Cole while Cole was asleep, and the sentence he told me the word was stuck. I mailed it to Jenna's work, not the house, because he checks the mail at the house. She got it Thursday. She called me Thursday night, and the only thing she asked me, over and over, was whether he swabbed her son without telling her. I said yes. She said okay. She said it 4 or 5 times. Just okay. Marcus called me at 6 a.m. Friday screaming that I destroyed his life over a piece of paper. I said, you said you could always walk. She walked first. The venue's still booked. Jenna kept the deposit, and Marcus is the one calling them to cancel.